Hey, welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel. We all know about the Disney remakes. You know, Disney has had this trend since 2010. I mean, technically it went on before 2010, but it started really happening around 2010 with Alice in Wonderland, where Disney started to remake or reimagine certain classics, whether it be, like I said, Alice in Wonderland, or remaking Sleeping Beauty into Maleficent, which Maleficent also got a sequel. And right now Disney is remaking some of their biggest profile films out there, like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, The Little Mermaid is literally coming out next year, and everyone's just like,
why does Disney keep remaking their movies?
I don't know, because you keep going to go see them. People also complain
Disney doesn't make anything original anymore.
Are you sure about that?
I am an optimist. I'm not saying every Disney remake is good. I mean, I didn't like these, but, I do feel like there's a lot of potential in there. There's a lot of potential in, seeing something that was animated and seeing it sort of come to life in live action, or at least in it gives it a new dimension. I'm not saying it's, better or worse than the original. I mean, there are some that I feel like were better than the original, and there are some that I don't think were quite as good as the original, but I still find very enjoyable. There's something inherently interesting to me in seeing, how do you make this in a quote-unquote live-action setting? I mean, obviously there's some, remakes that aren't live-action, like The Lion King. That's just straight-up a CG animated movie made to look completely real. But again, the fact that it does look completely real, again, I just find interesting. How do you work within the limitations of live-action or photoreal CGI? How do you make it a new kind of experience? Sadly, a lot of people don't really share my sentiment on that, and people just go, ew, remakes. Despite the fact that I think a lot of people, like a lot more Disney remakes than they care to admit. But, however, it started getting me thinking, what would be the remake I think has the most potential in success? And which remake do I think they should absolutely not do? Because really, in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay with remaking just about anything. I mean, because the original is still there. Anyone can still watch it. When they remade The Lion King, it's not like Disney, went like Thanos and wiped the original Lion King out from existence. No, you can still buy it, you can still watch it on Disney Plus, it's not going anywhere. It's just, there's also this other film that also happens to exist. But there are some Disney remakes where I'm just like, I don't see any potential in this. Maybe I could go with that one first. If we're talking about Disney remakes, what do I think should be the criteria in remaking it? And I'm not saying it has to be all of them, just at least one. For one, is there potential in the story? Did the original film have potential, but it just wasn't executed as great as it could have? Or in another sense, is there a new angle you could take with the story? The Jungle Book is a great example of this. The Jungle Book, I didn't care for the original Jungle Book, if I'm gonna be honest, but the remake, I feel like, did a lot better. I feel like the story was a lot more focused this time around. I even just find it even more likable. Shere Khan I find to be a very intimidating villain. That's one of the checkboxes I think the Jungle Book does, check off. Second criteria, is there a new experience that can be gained from seeing this in live action? For example, movies like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, they are treated like traditional live-action musical films. And again, I feel like that does create a new kind of experience. I do like seeing, what the whole the Gaston song being done, or in Beauty and the Beast in live action. I love how they did Never Had a Friend Like Me in the Aladdin remake. You strip away the whole, you can do anything in animation thing, and you're left with live action. How do you go about that? And again, I feel like movies like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast really do excel at that. But then there's another criteria. What can you do with technology that progresses it forward in terms of what you were actually able to do with filmmaking? And that's where I feel like not only the Jungle Book comes into play, but also the Lion King remake comes into play, because everyone's talking about virtual production now, like with The Mandalorian and how they have like pre-rendered, sets in this volume kind of space, so it's really like a CG world, but however it's being done in camera and all that stuff. And what The Mandalorian did was fantastic, but The Mandalorian wouldn't have been able to do that if The Lion King and The Jungle Book didn't set up those seeds for The Mandalorian, because The Jungle Book was filmed almost entirely on a blue screen. I mean, you look at this whole world and it's like, you gotta keep in mind, it's not just the animals that are CGI, it's the world, like the grass, the dirt, the water, like the environment, it's all CGI. And with The Lion King, well, it's the same thing, but you just take the human out of the equation, literally making a fully animated film and treating it like live action. The only reason why people don't find that to be really incredible is because they just didn't happen to like the movie. While everyone's praising The Mandalorian for what it did, The Jungle Book and The Lion King set up what The Mandalorian was able to do later on. And trying to develop this technology is very expensive, and so implementing them into these remakes at least ensures that it can be profitable and that people can get used to it. That is another criteria when it comes to remaking something. It's like, how are you pushing forward filmmaking technology? So that begs the question, which of the Disney animation catalog I feel like least represents any of this? And it's gonna be one you're probably not even gonna be thinking about. And so for me, the Disney film I feel like has no potential in any kind of a remake would be Home on the Range. I mean, look at this film. Like, it is, like, it's about cows and, like, their farm is going to be foreclosed, so they become bounty hunters to get money to save the barn, the farm, whatever. It doesn't, see, that's your main problem. This is a stupid story that we've seen a billion times, and I don't see how you could change the story to make it palatable. And in terms of technology, I mean, it's so cartoony and it's so absurd to where, like, you can't do this in any kind of a photoreal setting. It's gonna be stupid, and it's just, that's what I'm saying. There's literally no potential in a Home on the Range remake, and so, yeah. Now, which Disney film do I feel like has the most potential for a remake? And again, this is probably one that you probably haven't thought of for years. Now, I think there are a lot of Disney films I could see remakes of, like, for example, Brother Bear. I feel like if you take, like, the corny, jokey stuff out of it, you actually have the potential for a really good, really solid drama, and you also have Native American representation in there. There's definitely, opportunities for technology to be pushed forward. Also, take away the Phil Collins music. It's not my number one, but Brother Bear is definitely one I could see. You could also do Atlantis: The Lost Empire. The one thing that would probably hurt that, though, is that the original film was a box office disaster and no one wanted to see it. So I'm not sure if that would ever be done. Here is my pick for what I think is the Disney film, or like the animated Disney film, that has the most potential in a modern reimagining. And that is Disney's Dinosaur. Yup. Because there's, like, the possibilities are endless with Dinosaur. I mean, I like Dinosaur, it's fine, but I don't think it's amazing. Like, I think one of the problems with the film is that there's some modern slang in there, and also I think it would be even more interesting if the dinosaurs didn't talk. Like, if the dinosaurs just didn't talk, you're just watching these dinosaurs live their lives, I feel like that would be much more powerful in terms of storytelling. Also, if we're talking about advancing technology, I mean, good God, you could do so much with Dinosaur as well. Like, for one, you can make the dinosaurs all like realistic, like have like some really crazy design, some speculative evolution with these creatures. Like, I've always had this idea where it's like in the beginning of the film, like when you see Aladar's egg being carried off by a pteranodon, a few things kind of, struck me as odd, because it's like, would a pteranodon really be able to pick up an egg like that. And also another problem I have is that with the pteranodon picking up the egg with its beak, I feel like that'd be like trying to pick up an egg with like chopsticks. It just seems a bit impractical. So what if you had like a Quetzalcoatlus pick up that egg and like had like a throat pouch like a pelican or something, and it carries the egg in that? That solves one of the problems. I mean, granted, I think with dinosaur, you're already going to have to deal with the fact that, you know, all these dinosaurs and all these prehistoric creatures are living in the same place and time, even though they really didn't do so in real life. Like, I guarantee you, a Styracosaurus would have never met a Brachiosaurus. But that's something like you can overlook for the story. But just taking the idea of making these creatures, you know, not only look even more photoreal, but even more realistic, and the fact that they don't talk, I think would give the audience an experience that they've never seen before. And plus, you could go even further than what Dinosaur was able to do back in the day, because if you don't know, Dinosaur was filmed in live-action locations, and they just put CG dinosaurs into them. Now, I'm pretty sure there's some, like, stitched environments together with various images, like the Dinosaur Utopia or whatever that place is at the end of the film. But for the most part, you're getting, like, real photographed backplates for the CG dinosaurs to roam around in. And for the year 2000, that was revolutionary. But now, what if you just did the Lion King thing and had the entire world be CG? Like, this would technically making, this dinosaur remake more of an animated movie than the original film. I mean, which granted, I've always kind of debated, is Dinosaur, like the original Disney's Dinosaur, is that an animated movie? I mean, the Lion King remake, that's unquestionably an animated movie. Like, everything except like the opening shot, like the opening sunrise in the Lion King remake was live action, but everything else was animated, so the math kind of checks out. It was an animated film. I mean, hell, it was more animated than the Lego movie was, or WALL-E, so I'm not exactly sure if I would call Disney's Dinosaur an animated movie or not. That's one I think is Dinosaur is one that is a legitimate debate over. But yeah, like I said, I think Dinosaur is the perfect candidate for a Disney remake. The original film, it's decent, but it's not that great. You could replace the talking animals and whatnot with like no talking animals. Like, it's just like the animals are just living their lives. You could update the CGI and update the science to make them look more scientifically plausible. And maybe this would also be a chance to, you know, maybe not villainize like the Carnotaurus. I mean, maybe like the two Carnotaurus that we see in the film, maybe they're like a couple, like they are like there is a mom and a dad Carnotaurus, and they're hunting, but they're hunting for their babies. And the idea, I don't know, the ideas I have in my head are really detailed, like again, giving a little bit of empathy, showing that, you know, just because, you know, the dinosaurs, you know, some dinosaurs will hunt other dinosaurs, that doesn't mean they're evil. They're just trying to live life. And again, I feel like it adds a lot more dimension to these creatures. And so yeah, what Disney film do you think has the most potential to be remade? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, give it a like, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of future videos, and if you want to see more, click this.